Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening. You are watching Nub's Collection, a YouTube series dedicated to the cataloging and review of every game in my physical media collection. As always, I am your host, Victory Nub, and today we are looking at Arcade's Greatest Hits, the Atari Collection 1, or Midway Presents Arcade's Greatest Hits, the Atari Collection 1. Yes, that is a mouthful. This is the Super Nintendo release of the game, which was developed by Digital Eclipse, published by Midway Games, and released in the United States on August 20th of 1997. This is the newest of the Super Nintendo releases in my collection, and is one of the last Super Nintendo games that we'll be looking at for the Prime series, Nub's Collection. I do have two other games that I'm squirreling away for a second player to help me look at. We'll get to them someday. I don't know when it'll happen, but they will be looked at eventually because I like both of those games quite a bit. So this collection represents the last 16-bit release on any console for Midway, who also released this game on the PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn. I won't go into too many notes on the games that are a part of this collection because we want to look at all 6 of the games today, but we can do some quick facts and release dates for each of them. Asteroids was originally released in arcades in November of 1979 and was, at the time of release, Atari's best-selling game of all time, earning the company an estimated $150 million. The game involves players shooting and destroying asteroids and saucers on a screen that wraps around on both the horizontal and vertical axes, meaning if you go all the way to the top of the screen, you actually wrap around back to the bottom, and if you go all the way to the left, you'll wrap around to the right, and vice versa. Battlezone was originally released in arcades in November of 1980. Often hailed as one of the most inventive games Atari ever released, players take command of a tank and drive it around a 3D wireframe environment to locate and destroy enemy tanks and missiles. The arcade cabinet allowed players to pilot the tank using 2 joysticks that powered the left and right treads individually, and the original cabinets featured a periscope viewfinder that limited the player's view to the on-screen action only. There were future versions that actually got rid of the periscope, but the original release made it so that player could focus on the game exclusively and block out other distractions. But they did allow people to watch the gameplay on either side of the periscope. You could still see the screen. Centipede was originally released in arcades in August of 1981. This is one of only 2 games in this collection that I was actually alive for the release of. However, I would have been, at this point, maybe 4 or 5 months old, so I would not have ever been able to play it when it originally released. Centipede is notable for being one of the first video games designed specifically to attract female players, opting for pastel colors and a visually arresting art style. Players assume control of the Bug Blaster, a small insect-like creature that must destroy every segment of an advancing centipede before it reaches the bottom of the screen. Missile Command was originally released in arcades in July of 1980. Designed as a reflection of the cultural zeitgeist surrounding the Cold War of the late 1970s and early 1980s, players must defend a series of cities from approaching ICBMs by firing counter missiles in their path. The game was intentionally designed so that no cities or countries were named, and players could never take an offensive posture. It's defense only. The game also has no conditions for victory, which is not that uncommon for arcade games from the late 70s and early 80s. The game only ends with the player losing all of their cities and being wiped out. Take that for the implied message that it entails, basically. There is no winning in a nuclear exchange, everyone loses. Super Breakout was originally released in arcades in September of 1978. An updated version of Breakout, the game drew obvious inspiration from Pong, as it involves keeping a bouncing ball in play for as long as possible, with the added task of breaking every colored brick on the screen. Super Breakout was one of several games for which a narrative record was written by American folk musician John Braden. The story details a NASA astronaut returning from a mining expedition on the Jupiter moon of Io when he encounters an impassable rainbow-colored barrier that he must destroy using 3 missiles of white light, which is what that little ball was supposed to be, I guess. And finally, Tempest was originally released in arcades in October of 1981. I would have been alive for the release of that as well. Originally intended to serve as a sequel to Space Invaders, players move a blaster that is pointed into a void between different lanes to shoot and destroy advancing monsters. Tempest is one of the first games to use a progressive level design, changing level layouts as opposed to simply using the same map repeatedly while increasing difficulty, which I think you'll find with at least the game that we're seeing on screen right now, Missile Command, is basically the case. It's the same 6 cities and the same layout over and over. You just keep getting, the same level, but it's harder each time. But that's all the notes I had. Obviously, there's a ton of history for all 6 of the games, either as technical achievements or as commercial smash hits, or in some cases, both. I would just point out that this was not the definitive version of this collection. The versions that released on the Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1 had a video documentary included on the disc containing interviews with the programmers for each of these games. The Super Nintendo version just had the games, unfortunately. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure the beeps and boops that you're going to hear for these games are going to be so audibly satisfying that you'll want to crank this up as high as you can possibly go. I would be surprised if there's any music for any of these. I actually had my cans off while it was playing. I don't think there is any music. Maybe Tempest? That would be a guess. They do give you options for how many ships you have. And that's it. That's all they give you for Asteroids. We're just going to leave it at 3. I don't expect to make it very far. Player 1. Get it! The cool thing about this game is you have momentum that is meant to simulate the momentum that you would have kind of in space, where if you keep moving and there's absolutely no air or anything else to provide friction for which your vehicle would encounter any kind of slowing force, you basically just travel in that direction forever. Now, in the case of this game, they did make it so that your ship can eventually slow down. It just, it takes a little while. I'll be happy if I just cleared one screen without taking a hit. I'm not expecting it. Oh, whoa! I almost got hit. Where am I? I couldn't figure out where I was. Oh, the music is so intense now. What little music there is just boop, 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 boop. Got him! Oh, we're 2! There's 2 left! Move, buddy. Got it? Go get him. Oh, there's a little tiny ship! Unfortunately, he targets exactly where you are no matter what you're doing. Oh, come on! That was so close! Got it. I did it. I cleared one screen without dying. I would call that a round success. There we go. There are also little portals that I think appear on the screen. Basically, they just put you in a random spot on the screen somewhere, which is really just a risk and not really much of a reward, because the random place could literally be right on top of an asteroid or one of the saucers that comes flying around. I just got hit. Damn it. I don't know what the counter is on the top there. Is that the second player score? That would be my guess. Your score is one of the 10 best. 4,200 points. Think about that. When's the last time you played a game where 4,260 points was one of the 10 best scores? Please enter your initials. Goddamn right. I want this to hang in eternity. Did it? No? How do you do the press start? No, that didn't do it. How do I exit? I have no idea how you exit. Is there a... Oh, I thought you had to hit a power. No, it's in a separate button altogether. Yeah, see? If you're in trouble, you can just hit that button, and it'll kind of move you somewhere else so you don't get hit. But the danger there is, of course, it puts you somewhere random, and it may just put you in further danger. And I think there's a cooldown for it, so you can't just keep jamming on it. All right, let's see if we can figure out how you exit the game. Shoulders? Nope, shoulder buttons ain't doing it. Can I just kill myself? Nope, not like that. There we go. Watch 960 will be on the top 10 as well. Excuse me, 1,000. You gotta be kidding me. How do I exit? No! I wonder if I gotta just reset the game. All right, well, this is interesting. Let me see if I can figure it out through instructions. Good old Internet Archive. You can find just about every instruction manual ever written. To abort a game or return to the game menu, press Select Start, L and R simultaneously. Wow, that is not well telegraphed, so let's do that. Boing! There we go. All right, moving on. Let's do Battlezone. Of the games that were a part of this collection, the ones I know for certain I had played at some point before I ever bought this cart, Asteroids, Centipede, Missile Command for certain, and maybe Super Breakout, or a version of it. I may have just played Arkanoid. But those were the four that I knew I had played at some point before I got the cart. I had never played Battlezone before. I had never played Tempest before. So this was kind of a brand new experience for me when I played this one. Let's low, no, super low. And I think missiles are bad, so I don't want that. Controller, arcade, native, I don't know. Let's just leave it. And we're in. All right, pressing up turns me in a circle, apparently. Huh? Oh, that's wild. How do I go forward? This is confusing. Oh, there's the other tank! Got him! And he got me. Oh, we got each other at the same time. Oh, I missed. Oh, come on! Nope. Way too. I don't know what I'm hitting. Is there a go forward button? Seriously, this makes no sense. All right, let's back out and see what the, well, I suppose I could look up the instruction manual and see what the controls are in there. Left tread forward, left tread reverse. Oh, and this is arcade controls. Okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. So that's interesting. I kind of like that. Basically what it is I'm using the Polymega controller, which is like a PlayStation controller. They made it so that the left, the D-pad on the left and the buttons on the right move the treads individually. If you press up on the D-pad and down on the D-pad, you move the left tread forward and backwards. And if you use what on this controller would be the top and bottom buttons, Y and A, you move the right tread up and down. So I can move forward like this. I can move it like this. And then I use the right shoulder button to fire. Oh, I missed. Come on. Get him. Get him. Oh, I missed again. He doesn't see me. Fire, fire, fire! Got him! Get out of here, dog. Gotcha. Oh, no, he's right there. I missed. Yeah, I missed. No, don't calm down. He's gonna get the beat on you. Oh, I was about to say. I know he's in range. Another one right there. Oh, he's firing at me! Oh, man. I kind kind of like this. I mean, it doesn't control great at all. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna shoot it just in case it's bad. There's a saucer! I killed the saucer. No, I didn't. He killed me. Or is that... there's supposed to be missiles in this game. Enemy to the rear. Well, he shot me before I could see him. Great score. Okay, I guess. Change the lever with the right hand control. I'm trying. It's not... I can't change it. Wait. Oh, there you go. Come on. We're gonna spell it right. I earned this. Good job, Nub. Top of the board, baby! That one's not too bad. But let's look at the other ones. Of the ones that are left, the ones that I remember really having fun with probably would be Missile Command and Super Breakout. My history with Centipede would be that there was a Pizza Hut near where I live that had been open for, I don't know, 20 or 30 years. They actually closed it down just recently. And they had arcade cabinets in there almost as long as the store existed. In fact, I think if you went in there right before they closed that particular location, you probably still could have found arcade cabinets in there. Centipede was one of the ones that they had there, I think, forever. They just never got rid of it. I think that was also a location that regularly had a Street Fighter II cabinet. And I'm sure I played it the first time ever at that particular Pizza Hut. I don't know if I ever played it before then anywhere else. It probably was just that location. And then as far as the other games that were on that list, let's go back. Missile Command actually owned a copy of that. That would have been a game that we had on our Atari. Now, the problem is every time I say that we had an Atari, I get the model wrong. There were two versions that looked very similar, and I know we owned one of them, but I don't know which one. The Atari 5200 or the Atari 7800. 7800 was the most recent model that they released before the video game market crash that happened in 83 or 84. It had a controller that looked very similar to the ones that we had for our Atari, which would lead me to believe that that was the version we had. However, we had a game on the Atari that did not work on that particular unit, as far as I know, called Miner 2049er. And it did not release for the 7800, so I have no idea which one we had. Anyway, I'm yammering on enough. Let's see what the options are here. I'll turn it way down, just 10,000. I'm a big coward. Player speed, that's fine. Exit. Start. I remember this game being brutally hard to finish because the centipedes move real fast. And it is hard to get the timing on the shot correct. You're just kind of hoping. Got him. Oh, let me get it on the first shot. Oh, I got him! And I got the little booger. The hard one. Yeah, watch out, the spider will bounce right on your head if you let him. I think it's programmed to land exactly on your head if you stay in place. Uh-oh. He's getting close. I don't like this. I do like that, just like Space Invaders, you can only fire one shot at a time, but the closer the enemy gets to the bottom of the screen, the faster you can actually shoot. I shot a scorpion? I have no idea what that's supposed to be. I think it's a scorpion. Oh god, he's cheating! I got him. Got him. I'm the best. The This was one of the games that I actually did a test just to make sure the cart worked before recording, and I did terrible in that first run, and now I'm just cleaning up. Oh, I missed! I'm dead. I did really good that first run without dying. Uh-oh. I don't like you, spider. Oh, hey. Oh, finished the level. Nice. I think I got an extra life, too. Of course, things are starting to get real fast. So I can see what they're talking about with the quote-unquote pastel colors, because they definitely go with a very broad color palette, but I don't know if I would say these are necessarily pastel. Get the scorpion! I have no idea what he's doing to the mushrooms, making them harder. Oh, 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 no! Oh, God, they're so close! You can move forward on the screen, I just don't, because I'm a coward. Spider! And if you wait long enough, the centipedes will start popping back new heads on the screen. Got it. Oh, he's right there. Come on! Aw, you dummy. I'm actually having some fun with this. Now, one of the things I didn't mention about this, and the reason why I initially bought this game, and this will just go to show just how little I was paying attention when I bought it. When I bought this, I was looking for one very specific game, and when I did not get it, I was very upset. I was looking for a copy of the collection that did not have all these games, but the one that had Joust. Because I love Joust. Of all the classic games, I think my 1 and maybe 1 and 2 or 1A and 1B, old school like Atari style games, Intellivision, ColecoVision, whatever, my go-to games were Joust and probably Pitfall. Pitfall was a pretty unique design. I know we had just talked about how progressive level designs really weren't a thing early on in the era of like Atari and Williams and, you know, the arcade style games. I think Pitfall was probably one of the early ones also to break that trend because it had it had one really long horizontal map. Basically, it was designed so that you could basically go left or right for 10 minutes and never find a repeating level. It was either different enemies, or it was different layout of the traps in the level, but every single one of them was pretty much unique. And the whole goal of that one, of course, is to find the treasure, because there was like a set number of treasures that you could find, 75 or so. And you had to find all of them to complete the game, and you had a 20-minute time limit. So I always loved that. And Joust is just... It was such a simple and stupid design that it should not have succeeded, and yet it was just a massive hit, which is, you're a knight on a flying ostrich, and you have to kill other knights on flying ostriches. I did not expect to go as long as I'm going on this game. This is wild. I guess if I was calling Joust and Pitfall my 1A and 1B favorites, old school, like, Atari-era games, number 2 would probably be Galaga. Because I always loved the idea of being able to scoop up that second ship if it gets kidnapped by the little UFO one that could, you know, zap your ships and try to steal extra lives from you. Nub. All right. That one was pretty good. I like that. I like that a lot. Now let's do the one that I was always terrible at, but I thought it was very visually interesting, at least, because of the bright colors that saturate the screen whenever you fire your missiles. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Easily the darkest premise of every game on here. Too early. Gotcha. Too late! Okay, I'm watching, I'm watching. Oh no! I'm out of missiles! And they're gonna take out my strategic reserve. So you have to be... Oh no. Am I out of missiles? Weird. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, I figured it out. So why the hell can't I fire any other missiles? That's because they're siloed to different buttons on the controller. So, like, the center one shoots the center, or the top and bottom buttons shoot the center buttons, or shoot the center missiles. No, you don't. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, can't do that. God, I'm doing terrible. So long, LA. Although they didn't call it LA. Whatever this is. Oh god, they're going so fast! I can't do this. Just protect. Protect the last city! We're all dead. Damn it, Russia, you win. Or I guess in a modern sense, it would probably be more likely China. Let's do that one more time, because I really didn't grasp the controls initially. Uh-oh. Get those. All three. Gotcha. Nice. All those cities saved. President's gonna thank me with a big steak dinner. I don't know why that's the way he thanks me for saving the world. Gotcha. Oh, too late. Got it. Oh god, a lot of things are about to die. Sorry. There goes Chicago. Oh no. Get him. There you go. Cool. Uh-oh. Way off there. No! Gotcha. Ooh. Oh, let's kill the airplane. I think that's a bad guy. See ya. Alright, alright. Set a shake a little ring rust. We got this. Uh-oh. Oh, my eastern block is gone! Uh-oh. Ah, you're done. Ah, bye-bye. The entire East Coast is gone. Just gone. That was Boston, New York, and Chicago. Although Chicago's in the Midwest. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Oh, God, they're so fast! Hey, wait a minute. You're firing stuff, too? Ah, we're done. I have nothing left. And there goes my last city. Womp womp. The end of civilization. Essentially. Couldn't crack the top. whatever that is, 8. No, we're done. All right, of the ones that we had to look at today, I was going to operate on the assumption that Super Breakout is the one that I would last the longest in. Watch this be the one that I lose the fastest in. We'll do just regular cavity. I don't know what the difference is. That's fine. We change to the 3 different modes just to find out what the difference is. Serve. Oh, God. Yeah, there we go. Already off to a bad start. Serve. No, come on! Serve. Got it. Oh, I was so worried. Not the easiest control. You gotta keep in mind, many games around this time operated with a trackball, even in the arcade. So the control is probably going to be a little wonky if you don't have the more precise ability to move the paddle like you would with that paddle ball, trackball, whatever you want to call it. Nope, I missed. Oh boy. All right, let's change to a different one. Progressive? I don't know what that is. It's an auto insurance company, nub. Oh, okay. Didn't get it. Wish they just told you where the ball was going to be at the start instead of making you guess. Ah, damn it. No, come on! Why do you love doing that game? Ow. I should have known better. Should have known. All right, let's restart. Let's do, what's double? If it's a double-sized paddle, now we're talking. It is, oh, it's 2 paddles. And I still missed. Oh, I'm an idiot. Go. No, come on. Go. All right. Oh, no. Oh, no. I hate this. 2 balls. Wow, I didn't think this was going to go as bad as it did. All right, let's just go back to regular. And, oh, God, maybe this is what I got to do, is just slow down the paddle a little bit. I want to try to finish 1 board. Yeah, maybe. This is it. Oh, I still botched. Keep in mind, what I'm supposed to be doing here is I'm bouncing a missile or an orb of light off of the hull of, you know, the Space Shuttle Columbia or something. Oh! At least according to the song. Song or story, I'm not sure what it was supposed to be. It just made her kind of look like a big space alien or a snake with googly eyes, is what I'm smacking the ball into. Oh. All right, this one did not go nearly as smooth as I was hoping. I had a hope that the game would be a lot easier than it turns out. All right, let's take a look at Tempest. I remember this one being okay. Set it on easy. Turn down that bonus. I'm a coward. I think some of these options would have been things that you could also manually adjust in the arcade cabinet. If you were the coin operator for the arcade, you could literally open it up and just go into a diagnostic menu and just set the settings however you wanted. Obviously, if you're trying to, you know, milk your audience or your customers for as much money as possible, you pick whatever the highest and hardest difficulties are for all of those and screw the customer if they don't like it. All right, we're just going to go on the basic one. Oh, no. Oh, no! Oh, I died. I don't know what I'm supposed to shoot, or if I have to shoot any of them. Oh. Also don't know if I have a limit on how much ammo I have. did it. Super Zapper! It does not appear that I have a limit on how much ammo I can shoot, which is good. So I'm the kind of guy who just wants to flail on that button. I like this. I think the Super Zapper is a button that literally lets me just destroy everything if I want. There, just like that. Gotcha. I have no idea how many of those I have. Remember, this was supposed to be a version of Space Invaders. At least early on. I don't know how much of it was retained in the original design. Or the final design. Avoid spikes. Okay. Oh, maybe I gotta dodge stuff while I'm flying. Watch out, it's Polywhirls! Uh-oh. Oh, he got me. Oh, I'm so close to a bonus. Got it! Kill them all. Ow. Is it over? No, I got a little more. I don't know what the yellow streaks are supposed to be. Is it a record of how far the enemy made it before I died? Or oh no, the whirly gigs, whatever they are. Oh, it's over. Hooray! I think is what those little explosion. I got the top score. Yeah, I'm the best. No one in the history of this game has ever scored 12,000 points. Yeah, okay. We're going to do that one more time. That was kind of fun. I like that. Especially once I figured it out. Because that was, rate yourself. Spin knob to change. Okay. No, don't. Just do the button. Gotcha. I wish they told you how many supercharged shots you had. Gotcha. Oh no! Alright, got him. I got him in time. Oh. I got pinched. I am really good at this one. I'm a little surprised. Obviously, I set the difficulty down and made a bunch of things easier, but I'm getting the hang of this. I also like that there's like a button you can hold to fire instead of having to jam on the attack button over and over. Get out of here, kid. The game becomes immensely easier when you don't have to jam on a button. Gotcha. Keeps telling me avoid spikes, but I don't know what I'm avoiding specifically, because I don't know what any of these are spikes. Are those spikes? Uh-oh. Get out of here. I'm getting towards the expert level, when I guess the game just shuts off and tells me I'm the best player ever. Uh-oh. Oh, the little guy. Damn it! Oh, those pink guys are hiding things. There. Damn it! Oh, I did really good that run. And I got the top score again, baby! Alright. Back it up. Done. Alright. I think that was a pretty good look at all the games. Obviously, some of them are much more playable than others to this day. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. I think as we can keep this a nice short one. I don't think there's going to be a ton of depth to any of the games that we looked at. They're all kind of meant to be a quarter muncher type experience where you have a short burst of gameplay, you move on to the next machine, and then, you had your fun for the evening and you go home and probably never think about the game again, unless it's 1980 or 1981, in which case maybe you were playing these games obsessively and blowing basically an entire paycheck's worth of quarters on one of these games, which would be just the weirdest thing ever. All right, how to rate a collection versus individual games. I think we have to do this as a collection of the games. I don't think we should do the individual ones giving full scores for each of them. We will do the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is, I think this is a really good kaleidoscopic view of all the gameplay that you could get around one very specific period of time. Because as we went over all the dates that these games were released in, it was pretty narrow window of time. You're talking the earliest one came out in 1978 and the latest one came out in 1981. So between those, you're talking, 4 years? And there was a pretty nice difference between many of the games. Some of them were a little bit more similar than others. Asteroid, basically, you're just shooting asteroids. In fact, I think with the exception of one game, okay, so maybe that should go as a bad. One game in there did not involve you shooting something, and it was just Super Breakout. Literally, you're just bouncing a ball off of objects. But every other game in here involved you having to shoot a weapon at something to destroy it. That said, the way in which you did it was pretty different between all of them. In the case of Asteroids, you were, moving on a screen that, rotates around infinitely, so you can dodge an object on the top of the screen and pop out on the bottom and be able to shoot another moving object. And there's a lot of strategy involved in that because you have to keep in mind where objects are on one side of the screen, because as you move on the other side, you could wrap around and accidentally run into them. That is an element of strategy that can take a lot of work to just kind of warp your mind around. Believe me, I was not doing a great job of that when I was playing through it. As far as Battlezone, it's, you're moving on a 3D scape, landscape in a wireframe. And it took me a couple minutes to figure out the controls, but once I did, I actually thought they were quite intuitive. You move the left and right treads individually. You shoot at objects. It would have been nice if I could have seen what was shooting at me or gotten a little alert when they did that, because it didn't feel like it was necessarily the most fair. The enemy tank would just shoot me and I would be like, am I about to get... Oh, yeah, I'm dead. There wasn't a whole lot of warning for that, and it would have made it a lot more interesting, especially if you actually had, hit points, which you didn't in this game. So it was challenging to try to get a sense of progress in this one, since it felt like I had just as much chance of dying if I saw the enemy at the same time they saw me, especially if we both shot at the same time, because then we were both screwed. Centipede, obviously, I had the greatest success between that and Tempest with. I do think it may be a little bit too simplistic. It's literally just you keep shooting the centipede over and over, and just like asteroids, it's just shooting asteroids over and over. But I feel like the game, the field of play doesn't change quite as dramatically as it does with asteroids. So I probably would say that one is maybe a little bit worse for it, because even though, yeah, the centipede bounces off of mushrooms and that changes its path dramatically, I feel like what's going on around you at all times in asteroids is a lot more dynamic, because you got to keep moving in order to stay out of the path of an asteroid or the line of fire of one of those saucers. Missile command. It's not great. I remember that being one of the Atari games that we had, and I don't remember a whole lot of the others that we did. Maybe we had a copy of Pac-Man. I'm not 100% on that. Unfortunately, that is a console that I never held on to, because it was one of those things where we were going through, I want to say it was toys or something when I was a kid. It wouldn't have been more than 7 or 8 when my dad literally said, "You guys never play this anymore. We're getting rid of it," and we had to throw out the Atari. That's something that if I was 11 or 12, I would be like, literally, I'll put it in a box and hide it somewhere, and you'll never know it's still here, because I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not doing it. But yeah, Missile Command, I remember not liking very much, because I felt like just too many missiles would be coming at you at all times, and it was too hard to move the cursor into the path and launch your counter missile to destroy, whatever the ICBM that was approaching your cities or your stockpile, to really make significant progress in the game. And again, this is from an era where games you were never really meant to win, but in this game, it literally feels like you are forced to lose because of how much they throw at you so early on. Super Breakout, I would say, is easily the worst of the bunch, because it is very difficult, using a controller at least, to move the paddle back and forth and hit the ball appropriately to get it back in play. It's just, they made the paddle too small, frankly. I'm sure in arcades, or if you had a trackball where you had more precise control over the movement of the paddle, it's a much more playable and probably easier to make progress in type of game. But as it stands on a console where you're using a D-pad that literally has a digital response, which is literally it's going or it's not going, going or not going, it's really hard to dial in where you're putting the paddle. And you could see I had so many false starts trying to move that thing around. It was just kind of a letdown. Tempest, I'm actually surprised. I was remembering Tempest as being not a very fun game, but it may also have been because the times that I ever played it, I was of the impression that it's just like any other game that you've ever played from an arcade, where you press the button and it fires once, and the only way you're going to get it to fire again is press the button again. And it turns out if you hold the fire button down, you fire a whole stream of shots, and you can spin around the board, and you can just fire like crazy and unleash chaos on the stuff that's coming up. I had a lot of fun with that one. It does take a little time to wrap your head around, the thing, the claw that you're moving around, or the blast or whatever, moving around on the bottom of the screen. If you press left, it goes left, and you press right, it goes right. But once it wraps to the top of the screen, the controls are reversed, and that was causing me a little bit of an issue trying to shoot some targets. But that, again, that's just something that you have to learn to wrap your head around. Now, a lot of what I just said was all over the place in terms of good, the bad, and the ugly. I think the collection as a whole is very good. I think it does have enough gameplay variety to justify as being included in a collection of games. Obviously, there were some better than others, but I like the different variety of gameplay. Again, if we were going to put something in the bad, almost all of them, with the exception of the lone game we're looking at right now, involve shooting objects. I think that is a bad. Graphics, it's hard to knock gameplay or game graphics from something that literally came out in 1978, 1980, 1981. There wasn't a whole lot they could do graphically around that time. I think the ones that have aged better are probably the vector graphics ones, because you do get a sense of 3D movement in those games. And obviously, if you're talking about a game like Breakout here that is literally just a bunch of squares bouncing into each other, it's hard to say that it's a visually impressive game. I would say, even though they intended for Centipede to be a visually impressive game, I don't know if it necessarily feels that way today, because of course back then all the games usually had a black background, because that was the easiest way to color a screen and not have it burn your eyes out, basically. Just make the background solid black. As far as the ugly, there's no music anywhere. Even on the main menu, when you're just trying to select between games, no music. That feels like they kind of cheaped out. I mean, they could have come up with anything. Literally just make a song that makes you think of a retro, collection. Synthesizer heavy, there's some songs that play in the months ago, when we did the episode for Pinball Dreams. For some reason, that song feels like it would have been perfect for this game, because it's very synthesizer heavy, and it evokes a sense of being in an arcade. But yeah, there's no music for any part of this game except for in-games themselves, if they actually had any music. And I think the most we actually heard was dum 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 in the Asteroids game. And that's one of the oldest ones here. And that was all you got. Other than that, the games play very much like what I remember all these Atari games playing like. So I don't know if I would say good, bad, or ugly. Good for recreation, because obviously these are all being emulated. They're not running on the original hardware. So there's the pluses and minuses that come with emulation, whether or not it's an absolutely perfect recreation, or if they take some liberties to make sure that the game just runs in total. Digital Eclipse, I would say, has usually been pretty good about emulating games as part of collections or retro re-releases. Again, maybe not the most elaborate collection or presentation for all the games. It's literally just one static screen that you can pick from 6 different games on with no audio, so maybe they kind of cheaped out in that sense, and that would go in the ugly. Let's go ahead and give the collection a score. Again, individual games, I think some are obviously going to be better than others, but I would say as a collection, I think this is a worthwhile game to pick up and play. Just keep in mind, you're not going to be getting days and days and days of gameplay unless this particular era really sings to your soul. And frankly, these games, even though I did have some of them when I was younger, did not age well. They're one of those relics from a long time ago that certain people will find lasting appeal to, but games have gone so much further in complexity, in depth, replay value, graphics, audio. These are instructive of what games started as, and maybe not necessarily what they should have become, because obviously these are all very similar experiences where you have a limited number of lives, and the goal in each of these is just survive as long as possible, not necessarily to finish the game. And I feel like most games today, your objective is actually to finish the game. So I would say this is a good 7 Randars. It's an interesting look back, and if you paid, a markdown price for this particular collection, when you bought it brand new, or obviously if you were buying it used today and the total price for the cart was, say, $5 to $10, I'd say snap it right up. If there isn't a retro collection of a huge number of this era of games where you could get like 40 or 50 or 60 of them, covering a range of developers, not just Atari games, but as I mentioned before, the one that I probably should have gotten was the one for Williams, because Williams came out with their own collection of games similar to this, And that one included Joust. And Joust is the one that I really wanted to get. And for whatever reason, I just never found that particular cart. But I do think this is a decent collection of games with enough variety that you would not feel like you had wasted your money if you paid $5 or $10 for it. If you paid full price around the time that this game came out, which would have been in '97, so you're talking brand new release, somewhere in the $60 to $75 range, because this is when physical cartridges, or ROM cartridges, for not only the Super Nintendo but the N64, the prices were getting outrageous at that time. So I would not be surprised if when this game came out, if they did not do a budget pricing on it and they just went for, your standard release model and pricing, if they charged $75 for this, absolutely not. Pass, no thanks. But budget priced, this would be a fine expense, and you would probably find plenty to love about the games that are in here, some more than others. But yeah, 7 Randars, I think it's a decent collection. Would have been nice if they had maybe more games and maybe more variety than just ones that Atari made, because again, I would have killed for the one that had Joust on it. Even, sacrificing the ones that I liked on here, Tempest, and I had a lot of fun with Centipede as well. Sacrificing those, I would still rather have the one that had Joust on it because I really like that game. Or Pitfall. If we could have gotten an Activision collection that had Pitfall, because Pitfall was an Activision game, I would have loved that, but I don't think they ever made a compilation game for their older ones, and I don't know what else would go on there. They made other games, obviously, but the ones that really stand out are really just Pitfall. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of Nubs Collection. Again, for the time being, with a handful of games that I set off to the side, not only for Nubs RPG Wednesday, and a couple that we're going to look at once I get a second person in here to help us play it. This is the last Super Nintendo game that we're going to be looking at on Nubs Collection as a series. Obviously, we have a ton of games to look at for rental regrets, because Super Nintendo is when I really started spending a good chunk of my allowance money on rentals, and I have, 60 or 70 more of those to look at before we've gone through my entire collection of Super Nintendo games. But for now, Nubs Collection is moving on to new technology, and in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be looking at our first N64 game, and it just so happens to be coming up on the anniversary of Nubs Collection on YouTube. That'll be the 3rd anniversary for the channel, and I do have something special in mind for the first game that we're looking at from that console generation. Is that the 5th or 6th generation? I'm not sure which one it is, but it is an N64 game, and it's going to be a big video, so get ready for that. That's going to do it for this episode of Nubs Collection. As always, I do appreciate each of you watching, and I will see you next time.